Oh,
Hey,
hello. We did it.
I know. First
How
try.
are you?
I'm good. How are you?
I'm chilling. Just
I'm
hanging.
trying to get. Is this good?
Yeah.
Okay,
You have
cool.
a white wall, some good lighting.
I know. And
Here's the problem. I have a mug of coffee.
sure, coffee.
Coffee.
It's
Cheers.
4. It's 5 o'clock somewhere.
That's true. I mean, somewhere, yes.
Yeah. How are you? How's
I'm
isolation?
good. Everything's lovely. How are
Yeah.
you hanging in there? What have you been up to?
Um, I've been doing okay. It's very, very hard
Yeah,
being knowing that I should be on tour right now, and not being on tour is like one of the just like most heartbreaking things. And I'm just trying to like keep my mind occupied and take on other projects um, that just like take up even doing a puzzle is like enough to just like keep my mind busy, you know?
totally. Totally. Yeah, so what projects have you been kind of working on aside from
Um,
your puzzles?
Well, I'm at a good like on and off of like all I do is puzzles and watch TV, and then like here I am the next like 5 days not even touching a puzzle.
Yeah.
But I'm actually working a lot with my dad is doing these videos for his company that he works for, Rich Products, and he's been doing a lot of these like bi-weekly. He calls them "Tell Me Something Good," and it's kind of like that John Krasinski new like good news stories that he's been doing, except this is all based on the company. So he's been getting all of these requests and story suggestions and shout outs from different employees, and me and him have been compiling them into like these like 7-minute videos that he's been doing. So that's been taking up a lot of like his time making PowerPoints and writing scripts, and then I get to film him and edit the video and kind of like produce and engineer the whole thing. So it's
Yeah.
been cool working with him on that. And I try to write a song every day. I try to like practice writing on a computer more, because that's kind of the age that we're in with music and writing music, is that we can all do it remotely.
Hmm.
So I've been just trying to get better at writing by myself and sending it to other people to collaborate with. So it's just like stuff to just keep me busy, you know?
Yeah, I mean, sounds like you have a lot going on. I did see the one video you posted that your dad did with
The
Green
Green Day
Day.
song. So yeah, so so that went out to his coworkers, and they like have their own social media platform in the company as well. So it gets posted on there, and then he does like a "Tell Me Something Good" video every Tuesday and Thursday, and then we actually recorded another song today based on Billy Joel's "Piano Man." So I like wrote out music for it, and it's very funny. He's such a theatrical and just like over the top guy, and I like wonder where I get it. And he's just like
Totally.
we've never been able to like collaborate before with really anything. So this is like it's just fun because I'm living with him and my stepmom right now because I don't have a permanent place of residence when I'm home because I'm
Hmm.
barely ever home.
Right.
So coming home from Europe, and when we were like emergency flown home from Europe last minute, um, I like stayed in an Airbnb for 8 days to kind of quarantine myself. And then when that time was up, and I was like, I can't afford to just stay in an Airbnb for the next 3 months.
Right.
They happily took me in, and I think I'm paying my rent by doing video work for him for free.
I think that's a fair trade,
I
though.
think it is
Totally.
too.
Yeah. No, and you were talking about how you've been writing music and stuff like that. And I know, so you have two bands going on. Of course, I think most of my followers know you from Iceland, but you also have
Yes.
American Nosebleed,
Yeah.
right?
So obviously Iceland Kills is my main gig. But my other band in Buffalo is called American Chicago that I'm sending stuff to. I have a friend. My other band in Buffalo is called American Nosebleed, and it's made up of 3 other guys that were in previous bands in Buffalo before. So Mike and Anthony, the guitarist and the singer, are from a band called The Traditional, and Christian, our bassist, played in a band called Q Is What We Aim For, who you're probably familiar with.
I was a scene kid once. I still
Yeah,
am.
you still
What do you mean?
are. And we just play like, you know, punk and like hardcore stuff, and a lot of like, you know, Every Time I Die kind of inspired stuff, Velvet Revolver kind of riffs. Like it's very rock and roll with like a punk hardcore twist to it. Um, and we have new music coming out next month that we recorded in Buffalo like a year ago that we never put out.
Oh,
Um,
damn.
so we're working on releasing stuff, and you know, me and the Ice9 boys are sending stuff back and forth. As far as writing new stuff for Iceland. There's a lot of ideas going on there. And I'm also just collaborating with like anybody that wants to just like be creative. Like the Affiance guys, my old band Affiance, I'm sending stuff back and forth with them still. Like
Oh,
we're working
nice.
on new whatever you want. If you want to call it Affiance stuff, sure. Like we're working on new stuff there. I have like a friend in Chicago that I'm sending stuff to. I have a friend in like all over that I'm just like, hey, here's something. Let's just be creative and make something good out of us just sitting around and doing nothing. So it's
Yeah.
I don't know, it's a cool way right now to take advantage of the fact that everybody is bored stiff, and to kind of, you know, get the creative juices flowing. And I don't even care what happens with song B. If I send it off and somebody comes back and we have some cool ideas, that's cool. And if it never gets used for anything, that's cool too. Like who cares? It was fun doing it.
Yeah, I think it's going to be interesting to see like how much creative stuff comes out of this time period. Like everybody has so much free time. So,
Yeah.
yeah, to see what everyone does with it. But that's the thing, and I think that's kind of why I wanted to start doing interviews, is because the music industry is still kind of happening, even though it's not happening in the way we expect. You know, artists
Right.
are still working, things are still happening. So, I mean, just coming out of all of this, how do you think music, both live and just like in general, is going to be different as an industry? Because
Uh,
I think a lot of more is happening behind the scenes than people realize.
yeah, I think it's going to come back with an absolute like boom. I mean,
Yeah.
I mean, there's just so many people, fans and musicians and crew alike, that are just like literally we're dying to be back on the road again. Like
Hmm.
it's such a shame to have things announced and have to cancel them and have to postpone them. So I feel like when it is time for the music industry to kind of get back on their feet again, it's going to be a huge resurgence of even like bands that were supposed to be playing, you know, huge venues might not be able to book those huge venues again. So they might have to downgrade, which means you might be seeing some of your favorite bands in smaller venues and more
I
intimate
hadn't thought about
venues.
that.
And, you know, you might be seeing smaller bands on bigger bills because another band couldn't do it. Another band, like there's going to be like so much stuff that is going to get changed that is hopefully all for the good.
Hmm.
I was actually just talking to my buddy Nick about all of this last night, and it's like people are still releasing music right now, but are probably a little bummed out that they're not seeing the numbers that they are supposed to be seeing because they're not selling physical copies at shows
Right.
and everyone's sitting at home streaming. But I'm sure their streaming numbers are off the charts right now, which is why people are still, you know, like charting on Billboard while
Right.
releasing records right now. So it's like I know other bands are postponing their releases, but I feel like there are pros and cons to putting out music right now, as opposed to waiting and maybe losing some of your listeners and losing some of your fan base because
Right.
they don't want to, you know, they feel cheated that you didn't release your music. And now when you do release it, they've already streamed it and they don't want to buy your record anymore. So
Right.
it's definitely, there's going to be a lot that goes into having everything be back to normal. But I think that, you know, come fall, come winter, when everything is kind of back on its feet, it's going to be, um, everybody's just going to be so happy. like,
I
like
think for a second I was taking live music for granted, but best believe I will crowd surf. I will do anything. You know, we're all gonna be back at shows better than ever, I think. Like once we finally get back, we're all gonna be stoked for sure.
yeah, I could not be more excited. that our Five Finger Tour not only got rebooked, but it got rebooked as fast as it did. So
Yeah.
so like the pecking order of bands that have, you know, the opportunity to pick, you know, where they're, you know, or where they're going to be playing when their tours get rescheduled. I feel like that tour was kind of on the top of that list, being like a big arena tour. So
Yeah.
we basically got all of those dates booked, almost the same routing at the same venues, only 6 months later. So we got really lucky with that team, and with you know, all the behind the scenes of that tour, that we're actually, you know, able to come back and do exactly what we were going to be doing.
Yeah, absolutely. Well, I guess in the meantime too, I think the big question is like, what can fans do to support an artist, you know?
Right.
So what do you think, in your opinion, are the best things that fans can do to kind of keep things alive and make sure that bands are able to come back and tour when this is over?
Yeah. I mean, we saw it firsthand. We had that t-shirt and mask that we put out at the very beginning of this to help support our crew, because I mean, we may be 5 guys in a band, but we tour with another 5-6 people at a time that, or we're also out of a job. So I mean, I saw a lot of bands doing that. I mean, Frank's Nomad fundraiser is crazy big right now. But
yeah, definitely check out everybody for the Nomads if you're interested in supporting touring crew.
Yes, so please do that. .org.
Yeah.
For right? Is it an org
for
website? For
.org?
.org? Sure. I'm gonna go with that. But just from that, I mean, we saw tremendous support, and I feel like every band that was able to put out something for fans to either buy or consume, you know, with their hands or with their ears, people who were able to do that did. And you know, we were able to, you know, help out our crew. And you know, I know Spotify now has a full, like, you can donate straight to a band from Spotify, to just help keep
Music Cares is also a good one.
Cares is doing it. Sweet Relief, like there's a whole lot of different grants and organizations that are helping out the touring world. But I mean, if you wanted to just support the band directly, I mean, the merch stores are still open. The post office is still shipping things. So going and buying merch, buying CDs is still going to help keep bands lights on, if you will, that, you know, when they get back into it, they're not just going to be in the hole. They're not just losing money this whole time.
Exactly.
Even that app Cameo that me and Dan and Spencer are on.
You've been doing that, right?
Yeah, that's crazy that I have that many people that are willing to, even at a time like this, where it's like, I feel like it's a lot of people struggling and a lot of broke people just asking other broke people for money. It's like, how could I how could I feel okay about like reaching out to my fan base and being like, hey guys, I know that none of you have money, but like, give it to me.
Yeah, I think that's everyone's moral dilemma a little bit, but
which is why, I mean, like, I kept my price very low, and I feel like because I was able to keep that price low, I was able to get more of them, and I was able to have more fun doing them, just like days and days. Like, I've done 100 of them in the past like 4 weeks, which is nuts. That's
and real talk, Pat's cameos are priceless. Realistically,
I really have like no like Dan's like doing like guitar licks in them, and I know like Jordan from E-Tid's like doing a riff a day, and Spencer's like doing like very theatrical stuff, and I'm like, I can't do any of that. So I'm just like doing goofy shit and like drinking and doing shots on camera and like
responsible
singing.
We love it.
Yeah, like doing like 4-minute videos of me like making happy birthday drawings for people. Like, that's worth it to me, and I hope it's worth it to the people that are, you know, willing to give, you know, their money, if they're still working, to somebody like me who's like, I now feel just like I'm a schmuck sitting at home, like, give me your money and I'll say hi to you. But like, it's so much more than that.
Yeah. I mean, definitely everything that people can do to support artists, it's so appreciated and necessary in this time.
Absolutely.
I really want to make sure that, you know, the artists we love can bounce back.
Yeah, I mean, I
this.
donated to For the Nomads. Like
Me
when
too.
I had the opportunity when I first got home from tour, and like I still had like, you know, a good amount of money saved up, I was like, well, right now I'm going to be living rent free at my parents' house, so I might as well take some of the money that I would be spending on living and, you know, give it to people who are going to need it more than I do.
Right.
And, you know, I feel like that's a cool and like a good trade-off here, is that like I have supporters supporting me, but I'm also supporting as much as I can as well. So, you know, I'm not just sitting here just like taking people's money. Like it's also going to places and trying to help people as well. I'm trying to support local businesses that are still open in Buffalo, and, you know, try to support, you know, artists and stuff like that, and getting stuff sent to me. And, you know, I'm still trying to do my best to make sure that, you know, other people that are struggling are also being taken care of.
Yeah, I think that's a beautiful thing that's come out of this, is like this big, beautiful circle of support, you know?
Yeah, it's just
So.
it's actually it's just a circle of, I'll give you this, and then you'll give them that, and then they'll give me that, and then it all comes full circle. It's great.
Yes. Well, we have a few minutes left, so I thought
This went by really quick.
What?
This
I know,
went by really quick.
Crazy. But I figured we could pull a few fan questions. We did the Q&A on the story earlier, so entertain everybody while I scroll through these questions and find a good one.
Okay, everyone.
Sorry, no pressure.
Hi, everyone. Love your smile. Thanks, Joe's Pizza Faucet. That's a direct line to Joe. Had an idea for a faucet that pizza came out of, and he must have told a fan that, and they changed their Instagram name to Joe's Pizza Faucet.
Can you see the question that I just
Yes,
pulled
I
up?
can see it. Yeah.
Fabulous. Well, that's your fan question that I've chosen for you.
Okay, so the question is, if I could single-handedly write a song for Iceland Kills to Play, what film or book would I choose? That is a very good question and a very easy question for me. I would choose both. I think I would choose the book I Am Legend, not the film. Ooh. I love both. Richard Matheson is one of my favorite authors of all time. And I Am Legend is actually a short novel that the movie is based on. It's only like 160 some pages. But when you buy the book, it's actually a bunch of other short stories put into it, because he's an anthology writer. So I Am Legend is one of his most famous short stories that has been turned into actually 4 different movies.
Would you look at that?
The Will Smith one obviously being the most famous, but I would definitely write a song about the book I Am Legend.
There it is. And speaking of like characters and books and things, I have a question as well.
Okay.
Is there any correlation between the fact that you dress up as Jigsaw on stage and you're doing jigsaw puzzles during quarantine?
Do you know? I want to say yes, just to like keep the whole like facade going on, but like the Saw movies terrify me. Like I'm
You heard it here, folks.
Yeah, like I'm not really a big fan of them, because I hate being scared, and like torture movies are like, yeah, I know.
Put this man in Ice Nine Kills.
We all are kind of like, you know, we'll wake up on the bus and Spencer will just be like blaring a horror movie in the front, and we'll all just be like, well, we're gonna get out of here, because we all kind of have to put on a scary face, and you know, we'd all kind of rather be watching like a Will Ferrell movie, I think.
Well, the truth is out.
But I think that I'm just surprisingly good at puzzles, which is why they wanted me to be Jigsaw, and I accepted.
Oh, so there is like a slight correlation.
No, I'm making this up completely.
Anyway, okay, I'm gonna pick one more question. So entertain the people for another 10 seconds while I find one more for you.
Also, I know that I also wear what looks like to be a dead pig's mask on stage, but little do you know that I'm vegan, so it's like There's no correlation there either.
Your brand is something
It's
special,
all over
Pat.
the place. I don't like horror movies. I'm in a horror band. I'm vegan. I wear a pig on my head.
Okay, here's your final question.
How do you guys come up with what makeup looks to do on stage? That's another good question. That originated from doing Warped Tour 2018, which was the last Warped Tour, which is where I met you, Warped Tori herself. And that kind of came about. That's when I first joined the band. So I hadn't even played with Ice Nine yet. I had just been practicing and recording videos to show them that I was like, you know, learning the songs and playing the songs. And I was in an email thread with the guys, and Spencer suggested, you know, I think at the time JD was like, hey, I think I want to dress up like Jason on stage. And I think it all kind of came around to, but, you know, after those looks kind of went away, after, you know, when the Silver Screen first kind of came out and we started touring on that, Spencer kind of just said, hey, let's change it up. We're going to be playing other songs that have other characters in them that would be fun to do on stage. So, you know, having Ricky be Georgie, which is kind of stuck because that's like kind of Ricky's like persona now, is that he is Georgie. And, you know, bringing Dan in, who's kind of like a taller, bigger dude who would, you know, we were like, what about Leatherface? You know, it's kind of just all a bunch of like suggestions here and there. And just see what people like. I hit up Spencer and was like, I really want to do a backwoods cult kind of look. And I sent him a couple masks that I was looking at, and he was like, the pig mask, that's awesome because it looks like the pig mask from Saw. And I was like, oh, that would work then. I didn't know that because I've never seen the Saw movie that has the pig mask in it.
Unreal.
So like that's how that got chosen. And, you know, when we were doing the headliner, we knew that we were going to have the jigsaw eyes around the drum risers. They were like, what if you were Billy the Puppet, which Justin Morrow had actually been on the tour before he left for Motionless. So I kind of took over that role because it kind of fit the whole theme that we had on stage. And, you know, it's always just been what's going to look cool on stage and how does it relate to the movies or the music that we're writing. Even on Shiprocked, Dan couldn't be on Shiprocked, and our buddy KJ was there, and he was Chucky. We don't even have a Chucky song, but we dressed him up as Chucky just because it's like, okay, horror films. Maybe they'll do a Chucky song next, and it's like, okay, cool.
Spoiler alert. No, I'm just kidding.
Maybe, I don't know. It's not my decision.
Fair. Well, I know you have a lot of creative input now in the midst of quarantine, so who knows?
Yes, maybe I can. Maybe I'm gonna write the Chucky song. You hear that, guys? I'm gonna write it.
I'm holding you to it. I'll be waiting.
First, I'm gonna watch it. Also,
that's a good start.
Joe's Pizza Faucet jelly beans are vegan. They're not made from gelatin anymore. Stuff's evolved. Jelly Bellies are vegan. They're not gelatin. Just so you know.
Wow, coming in hot with the truth.
Yeah, I know.
Well, is there anything else that you want to mention, or I don't know, give a shout out to, or tell people that's coming up? All those things.
Well,
last chance.
Well, you all already know that. I mean, where to find me. You know where to find me because you're watching this and I'm on it. But American Nosebleed is at American Nosebleed on Instagram, and we've got new music coming out next month. I saw Chris LaPlante in here say that it's very good because I showed it to him. So we'll have new stuff coming out, and I don't know, like most of my stuff is just my name. So my YouTube channel that has all my drum videos on it is just Patrick Galante. My Cameo is Patrick Galante. My Instagram is Patrick Galante because you're watching it. And my Twitter is Pat_turns, like the word patterns, because drums. Get it?
I get it.
Do you know that I originally, can I just tell this real quick? Is that my
yes.
My first tour ever in 2009. was with a band called No Bragging Rights and Affiance. And that was the tour that I was convinced to get a Twitter. So I got a Twitter and I tried to make it PAT_headache. So it said pathetic.
No.
But that was already taken.
I think
So
I
I
like
went with
patterns better
patterns,
anyway.
yeah.
It's a little more fitting for your personality.
Thanks. Rust Jake 66. Yes, American Nosebleed is on Spotify and Apple Music. So yeah, just search for that. We have an EP already out. That's 5 songs that we've already released, and then we will be releasing 4 more songs next month. So yes.
Yay! Well, highly
Tori, thank you so much.
to it.
Thank you for having me on this and doing this. This is so fun.
I know, this was so great. I'm glad you were the first of many interviews to come. So
warped Tori, she's back.
And she's out. Well, thanks for hanging out, Pat. I appreciate you. And everybody check out American Nosebleed, Iceland Kills. You know the drill. We'll see you later. Bye, Pat.
Bye, guys.
Bye, guys.